coronary artery disease, or heart disease, or also called CAD. An estimate of 17.3 million people died from heart disease in 2008. Scientists expect that about 23.6 million people would die by 2013. It results from a complex process known as atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis is the buildup of a waxy plaque on the inside of body vessels. This causes blockage of arteries and prevents oxygen, which is rich blood cells, from reaching the heart. There are many steps in this process leading to atherosclerosis, some not fully understood. So as you can see right here, this is all the plaque that's on the outer lining of the arteries, and this is where the arteries are located, on the heart. The atherosclerosis process begins with cholesterol and spear-shaped bodies called lipids that transport cholesterol. As you can see, there's spear-shaped. Cholesterol is a substance found in all animal cells and animal-based foods. It is critical for many functions, but under certain conditions, cholesterol can be harmful. For your information, LDH is bad cholesterol and HDL is good cholesterol. As this narrowing and hardening process continues, blood flows slowly. When it affects the coronary arteries, it causes injuries to the tissue of the heart, as you can see right here. These narrow arteries not only slow down blood flows, but also become wide open to injuries and tears, as you can see right here. The end result of this is heart attack. The plaque itself develops tissues or tears. Blood sticks to the site of a heart attack can then occur if the blood clot completely blocks the passage of oxygen. As you can see right here, the plaque blocked the way for the blood cells to pass by, which is oxygen. They carry oxygen. As you can see right here, this is a normal person's arteries. But as you can see, the plaque develops. Then as it grows, this is what happens. And then the blood gets clot, and then you get a heart attack. The most common symptom of coronary artery disease are chest pains or angina. Angina can be described as a discomfort, heaviness, pressure, aching, burning, fullness, squeezing, or painful feelings in your chest. It can be mistaken for heartburns. Angina may also be felt in the shoulders, arms, necks, throat, jaw, or back. And some other symptoms of heart disease are chest pains, your hands and your ankles get swollen, shortened breaths, and you get tired more often than normal people. You might not be diagnosed with heart disease until your condition gets worse to the point that you can have a heart attack, angina, strokes, or heart failures, and discuss any concerns with your doctor. What are the signs of heart disease? Many people do not realize that they have cardiovascular disease until they have chest pains, a heart attack, or stroke. These kinds of problems often need immediate attention, and the people may need to go to the emergency department of an hospital. If it's not an emergency and the doctor suspects the person could have cardiovascular disease, the doctor can do some tests to find out more about the heart and the blood vessels. And some of the treatments and some of the ways to find out if you have heart disease are echocardiography or electrocardiogram, and these are only some of the ways that you can find out if you have heart disease. And these are just pictures that show you on how they test you. So how do you get heart disease? Heart disease isn't contagious. You can't catch it like you can catch a flu or a cold with viruses or like bacteria or fungi. But some people do have control over some risk factors, like smoking, having high blood pressures, being overweight, and not exercising. Your body increases the risk of getting cardiovascular disease. Show that your siblings' health history is even more important than your parents. People whose siblings have a history of heart disease carry a much greater likelihood of developing heart disease themselves, rather than if only their parents should have the condition. So, they check your siblings' health history more than your parents. How does this affect the body? If plaque is formed in blood vessels that delivers blood to the brain, it can lead to stroke. Narrowed blood vessel in the heart, it can lead to heart attack. In case of blockages in the kidney, it will affect the kidney, malfunction of the kidney, or even kidney failure. The plaque buildup could block an artery in your arm or leg, sometimes causing a blood clot could form and travel to your heart, resulting in cardiac arrest. The body's circulatory system consists of the heart, blood, and blood vessels that are responsible for supplying oxygen to the body. Telomeres are tiny strands of DNA at the ends of each of chromosomes that protect the ends of chromosomes. As you can see right here, these all red stuff are telomeres. They are kind of like glue because they help prevent harm of chromosomes of a cell. They also help determine how long a cell lived. When chromosomes do their thing, some telomeres break off. To keep it simple, less telomeres equals older cell. More telomeres equals younger cell. As you can see right here, the bottom of a shoe, the less heel it has, the older it is. The more it has, the younger it is, the newer it is. Researchers who measured telomeres length in white blood cells in 1,500 men from years 45 to 64 found shorter telomeres, indicating a higher likelihood of developing heart disease and a greater risk of mutations. Earlier research have shown that people with heart disease have shorter telomeres, but it was not clear until now if telomeres lengths could be used to mark the illness. Scientists from King's College and Osaka University Medical School in Japan showed that during heart failure, a harmful condition affects approximately 700,000 people in the UK. This rogue DNA can start kick the body's natural responses to infections, contributing to the process of heart failure. During heart failure, immune cells, which are white blood cells, invade the heart. This is a process called inflammation. The process makes heart muscles less efficient, reducing its ability to pump blood around the body. Inflammation is usually only activated when the body is facing a threat, such as infections by a bacteria or virus. You can see right here, this is an immune cell or white blood cell, which is attacking the invaders, which are like bacteria. And these studies show that during heart failure, DNA forms these mitochondria. These scientists believe that the body producing mitochondria may be related to heart disease. The way heart disease affects women is in their first few months after delivery. The research team gathered DNA samples at a medical school from 41 women in their 20s and 30s who had suffered from PPCM. PPCM is defined as a cardiac failure in the last month of pregnancy. They also took some samples from 49 women who were over age 75 and had never experienced cardiac problems. Samples were sent for testing to a lab in Iceland, which used a special credit card-sized device covered with 500,000 tiny dots of proteins that, when mixed with human DNA, can isolate genetic mutations. To the group's surprise, the testing found that about 2/3 of the women with PPCM shared a genetic mutation on chromosome 12. This is a picture of chromosome 12. That gene had been shown to be involved in regulating blood pressures and muscle contract in the uterus and the heart. Heart disease has many causes, some carried in our genes and others linked to our lifestyle. A mutation of deletion of 25 letters of genetic code from the heart protein gene MYBPC3 is virtually restricted to people from India's subcontinent. The mutation was discovered 5 years ago in 2 Indian families with heart problems. Carriers could be identified at a young age by genetic screening and adopt a healthier lifestyle. Approved biotechnology medicines already tested or help prevent heart disease. These medicines use many different approaches to treat diseases. Biotechnology has produced many medicines to help deal with the symptoms of heart disease.